South Africa's captain Rassie van der Duyn won the toss and elected to bowl first, putting their faith in a pace-heavy attack to exploit early bounce and seam on offer at Harare. They fielded four-seamers, Nanda Berger returning from a back injury, Lungi Ngidi, Andile Simelin, and debutant Corbin Bosch, supported by a trio of spinners, Nkaba Peter, Dewald Brevis, and George Lind. The batting side saw two fresh faces, keepers opening batter Leandra Pretorius and middle-order addition Ruben Herman, marking South Africa's first T20I of 2025 under new all-formats coach Shukri Conrad. Zimbabwe respond. Zimbabwe named a seasoned side, under Sikandar Raza's captaincy, featuring Brian Bennett, Ryan Burl, and Richard Ngarava. With preparations already underway for the T20 World Cup qualifiers, their focus was sharp. Zimbabwe set a competitive total, but South Africa chased steadily. Corbin Bosch 23 off 15, gave impetus in the middle overs, and although George Lind was briefly tested, support came from throughout the lineup. On the Zimbabwe side, Richard Ngarava claimed a sturdy 3-wicket haul, but was somewhat costly, maintaining an economy around 8.8. Left-pointing magnifying glass, turning points and notables. Berger's return added strength to South Africa's seam attack after a nearly 10-month layoff. Bosch's cameo accelerated the chase when it looked like equilibrium might tip in Zimbabwe's favor. Ngarava's haul highlighted Zimbabwe's resilience, but he couldn't prevent the Proteas from gaining fire. What this means. South Africa's bowling depth and calm, collected chase offer a pattern heading into their campaign. With tomorrow's match featuring New Zealand, momentum is on their side. Zimbabwe, meanwhile, showed grit but will want stronger contributions from their batting core, particularly against quality pace. This match continued South Africa's unbeaten T20I streak over Zimbabwe, stretching their dominance. Both teams now pivot mentally toward the next clash, Zim vs NZ tomorrow and SA vs NZ on Wednesday. Crystal ball looking ahead. South Africa will assess conditions further ahead of their New Zealand encounter. Zimbabwe needs to build on positive groundwork, aiming for higher totals and tighter middle overs bowling. The return of key players like Berger and debutants like Bosch, Pretorius, and Herman hint at South Africa's plans to blend youth and experience. In summary, a close-fought opener with South Africa edging home. Their combination of pace attack and disciplined chase sets the tone for a compelling tri-series. Zimbabwe head to the next encounter, looking for breakthroughs to narrow the gulf.
If you think about it, it's
over T20. And especially when you know that you've consumed 9 deliveries, then you're trying to... now.
Match overview. Tri-series opener Zimbabwe vs South Africa. Venue and occasion. Harare Sports Club, opening match of the 2025 Zimbabwe Tri-Nation T20I Series, featuring Zimbabwe, South Africa, and New Zealand. Tournament dates, 14-26 July 2025. Toss and decision. Skipper Rassie van der Duyn trusted the morning swing and opted to field first. It proved fruitful as South Africa anchored Zimbabwe to a modest 141/6. Zimbabwe's innings, a fighting yet inadequate total. The home side reached 141/6 in their 20 overs, largely fueled by a 54 off 38 balls asterisk from skipper Sikandar Raza, his 15th T20I 50. Brian Bennett, with 30 off 28 balls, provided some early stability, but failed to build on it.
Over. Very close to that off stump, you can tell by the...
After a test match in Bulawayo, and so hasn't quite got the rhythm that he would have wanted.
Yeah, swing and a miss. A maiden from Ngidi is...
Gives a bit of room and it's cost him. Back of a length, not really short enough, and over extra cover.
Square on the offside, so this is given him just enough space to get this over the extra.
And that's nicely played, this time through the cover region, same area, this one off the front.
Get the impression he really middled the first ball of this right out of the screws, and he finds that gap again through the extra cover. A little bit of momentum perhaps allowed Lungi Gidi to bowl her.
Goes for a big one. Is it got enough? It's Herman. The ball has followed him around. We'll see as the ball flies over. He wasn't on the edge. Had to make tracks backwards.
Shot.
And that's a nice delivery. That's well bowled by Bosch. Just holding his length to finish the over. Given some air. I think Bennett was thinking over extra cover. He throws his head back in a bit of disgust. Got him! That is a wonderful delivery. Bit of in drift and then grips and turns. And Dunde's in.
Got a lot behind the line, but it's the shape in first. Draws a shot through the leg side. Runs he got this morning. Real struggles for him. 8 from 16. Strike rate 50.
In good touch. There's his record. Fast 140. And he's underway. Pulled away, and that's nicely played. Just on a length from Bosch. And you get the feeling that Secunda
right. And he's gotten himself into such a good position. He can hit it over to...
Struggling with the footholds there. He was complaining after that ball was pulled away. He wasn't happy with maybe his foot slipped just a little bit. Slow delivery. It was a bit telegraphed from Bosch and overpitched, but he gets away with it. And
this time he finds it. Work to do for Simelane.
Shot, but has he got enough? Has he got enough? No, he doesn't. Quarter of the 2 boundaries, but it's still quite large nonetheless.
Batters to push this innings forward. Can't stop the urge to score. The innings of 30 comes to an end. It's 55 for 3.
Another Zimbabwe. Brian Bennett, the man who's well fielded. Time.
Perhaps the positivity can come from this is maybe they can get runs, and this could be the opportunity. Yes, I thought about it. It was on cue.
Raza, as he's waited as long as possible before advancing down the pitch, and didn't give Simelane an opportunity to change.
I just want to ask you, Tino, as much as Zimbabwe have an experimental side, putting for these T20 players.
I'll tell you what, on because you're looking for runs in the format.
Is that because a lot of the to 65-meter sort of distance within the boundary? And it'll lead to my next point in that if that's not the case, when you...
Good Yorker. And very good running